big box of chocolates. Let's do
There
this.
you go. I see you, man. I see you.
What were you about to say, Jen?
She was getting ready to say that.
I'm sure.
Oh, box of chocolates.
My God, I really hope Jenna Wolf was not about to call Chris Canty a big box of chocolate.
Holla, holla.
I was going to say,
I
when we
wouldn't
think
have-
love, we think Chris Canty.
Oh, we
but
do,
your box
absolutely.
of chocolate thing.
Yeah.
The most debated quarterback coming out of the draft next year will be Kyler Murray. Murray announced he was choosing football over baseball last week. Despite his rising draft stock, many have doubted his ability to thrive due to his diminutive stature. His new agent, Eric Burkhardt, had a message for those doubters yesterday.
Kyler is not some little shrimp they're making him out to be. I see people have him at 178, 180 pounds. This kid weighs 205 yesterday. This kid is jacked the F up. These days and age of these old NFL dinosaurs and scouts that sit back and talk about what players can't do. Oh, he can't do that. He's not this. He's not that. Those are the losers. I mean, sorry, that's what it is. If you want all your requirements and all of that, that's not what the NFL game is today.
All right, who is he comparing him to? Maybe the Paxton Lynches and the Joe Flaccos and all those tall guys that didn't quite work out there in Denver. Chris Canty, what do you make of what Kyler's agent had to say?
Well, I think Kyler's agent is doing what an agent does. An agent is basically a glorified salesman. He's trying to sell him to the fan bases of prospective teams that are thinking about drafting him, but he's also trying to explain why the criticism of Kyler Murray is not fair. And I completely agree with him. I mean, in terms of the way we look at the prototype for the quarterback position, I think we got to adjust that a little bit, CC, based on how the rules are now in today's game, all of it slanting toward the offense, particularly protecting the quarterback, whether he's in the pocket or outside the pocket. I mean, we've seen quarterbacks that are more slight in stature have success. I mean, two of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL are right around 6 feet tall, that being Drew Brees and Russell Wilson.
Yes.
We saw Baker Mayfield had an outstanding rookie season, breaking the rookie touchdown passing record. He's coming from the same offense that Kyler Murray is coming out of, Lincoln Riley at Oklahoma. If you look at Baker Mayfield's last season in college in comparison to what Kyler Murray did last year, I mean, the numbers are really similar. I mean, if you were going to say one quarterback had the edge, you would probably give it to Kyler Murray, just what he added in the ground game. So I look at this and say you have to rethink the conventional norms regarding the quarterback position just based on today's rules. And when I looked at the tape for Kyler Murray, I see a productive football player. I don't just see an athlete playing quarterback. I see a quarterback that happens to be an athlete.
And that comes from a guy who made his living in the trenches as a, how tall are you, Ken?
6'8".
6'8", playing defensive tackle. So if there was going to be a guy against him, it would be a guy like Chris Canty. I played in the trenches. He's not going to be able to throw it around me. He's not going to be able to do certain things within the pocket. So for me, that's a tremendous endorsement.
See, and to add to your point, the quarterback in the NFL that led in batted passes rate last season just happened to be the quarterback that got traded to Denver, Joe Flacco. How tall is he?
6'6".
Exactly. So, I mean, there is no correlation between quarterback's height and batted passes. I think that's one of those myths that.
Okay, hold on. I disagree with that last point. There is a correlation. Just because Joe Flacco is bad enough to, or he can't take advantage of his height, doesn't mean shorter quarterbacks aren't more likely to have passes batted at the line of scrimmage. I'm not saying it's a one-to-one. It's not a direct correlation like that. But you are more likely to struggle throwing over your offensive lineman and the defensive lineman's hands raised the shorter you are. Additionally, you are going to have to throw with more anticipation because there are going to be more blind spots when a receiver's coming across the field that you simply can't see. I respect what the agent is doing, and I agree with you entirely. This is good agenting. Great agenting, and he's saying he weighed 205. Listen, you know why I said he weighed 195? Because that's what the University of Oklahoma told me. You know why I said he's under 5'10"? Because that's what the University of Oklahoma told me. And while he can gain weight between college and the pros, he ain't going to gain height. Except for the hair, and that doesn't count. So this is a fact, not an opinion. If he's successful, he would be the shortest successful quarterback in NFL history. I just need to see it first. For me to be willing to spend, forget a first-round pick, a top 10 pick is how we're talking about him? A top 5 pick maybe? The discussion was, could he go 1 overall? I can't use that type of pick on someone who would be the first person to ever do something. And so, like I said before, I am rooting for him, and I thought he was an electrifying college player. I've never seen it translate in the NFL.
What pick was Johnny Manziel?
Johnny Manziel was in the 20s.
22nd, I believe.
Okay. Now, Johnny Manziel The only thing stopped Johnny was his personality from playing in the league. That's the only thing. If he didn't have the struggles off the field, Johnny Manziel would be having an NFL career. I believe Kyler's a better football player than him. I don't think the agent's doing a good job. He mentioned the weight and everything. No, he needs to stop talking. He needs to shut up because we got a job to do. And we're going to criticize every college player because our job, once they stop, when they finish the national championship, the bowl series, when they finish their last game, our job is to tell people what they can do and what they can't do. And you seem to be fine with that when we told people about Johnny Manziel and we hyped Johnny Manziel up where he shouldn't have been in the first round. He should have been a second-round pick. With the character flaws, the bad things that he did off the field, the lack of being dependable, all the things that he did, the elitism that he exhibited. Oh man, I mean the privilege that he was expecting when he came into pro football, he shouldn't have been a first-round pick. But when you represented him and we said good things about him and he was short, and Kyler does have a better body. He's a little bit shorter than Johnny Manziel and has a better throwing motion than Johnny Manziel. He throws more over the top and has better anticipation than Johnny Manziel, and he doesn't have all these things off the field. So for me, he is a first-round pick. And if the agent just shuts up and let us do our job, because that is our job to be able to pick apart all these players and tell you what they did in college and what will not transfer and what will transfer to the NFL game. And I do believe he will be a starting quarterback because eventually someone is going to be able to do it. And if they hadn't changed the rules, I would be like, yeah, I need to see someone do it. But I believe he is the guy.
Yeah, CC, and to your point, I think the timing never been more right for a quarterback of this stature to be able to come into the league and have success. And Nick, I know you pushed back a little bit on the point I tried to make about a quarterback's height and the batted passes. But if you look at the quarterbacks that are coming out this year, that in the top couple of rounds, guys that are being considered a first or second round pick. I mean, last season, Daniel Jones, who's 6'5", had 12 batted passes. Drew Lock, who's 6'4", had 8 batted passes. Kyler Murray was tied for 5 batted passes, and Dwayne Haskins is 6'3". So, I mean, there's something to the kid's game, whether it's him being able to use creative arm angles or being able to find windows within the pocket to deliver the ball down the field.
And
there's something to it.
So, offensive line in football last year, in college football.
Yeah, okay, and that's an NFL offensive line in terms of size. So, I mean, when you look at all of those different factors, it's not like Kyler Murray is just dealing with this height now. He's been this height his entire life. So if he's been able to overcome it and play at a high level in college football and get the Heisman, I would like to believe that the kid would be able to adjust once we get to the pro level and overcome whatever deficiencies that his height might present for him.
Also, it seems like we come out here every day, we keep making either an excuse for him or, you know, bumping him up to say that he's going to make it and be successful. It doesn't seem like his draft stock is falling. It seems like teams are very interested. Maybe the Giants made a comment that they didn't.
Yeah, he'll be all right if his agent just keeps quiet.
If his agent stopped talking. If we stop talking about his height.
That's what the agent need to do right there.
It says stop talking is what it says. Chris hands it to various people throughout
the course of the show. So I'm going to take that advice. Chris, we'll see you a little bit later on the show. Coming up, are the Lakers making the right call? Sticking with Luke Walton next on First Things First.
BIG don't spell